All right, let's keep this train going. This is still in the headlines. We now get to have a quick look at what the papers have for us today. The main read today on the front page of the Daily Nation, making of a messy, loud divorce. Actually, making of a loud, messy divorce. This is the story between, it's an exclusive of, how the fallout between His Excellency President Kenyatta and Deputy President came to be, from the account of Aidan Canaan, who is the Secretary of the Jubilee Coalition Joint Parliamentary Group. That story has been covered in great detail on this particular daily. We'll be looking at the details in not too long. The other story here on the header, still politics, still the different presidential aspirants campaigning. The campaign trail continues. On the 2022 campaign trail is the heading right there, with Azimio led by Governor Hassan Joho comes in Migori as the DP William Ruto takes Kenya Kwanza, the vote hunt to Nyeri. The campaign trails do continue. The other piece here is in regards to the story of one gentleman who died in search of ICU treatment from Tana River, as it has emerged that Tana River County does not have ICU facilities, in as much as the county has received over 38 million Kenya shillings as part of the COVID-19 funds that were supposed to be directed towards the construction of ICU facilities in every county. So that story has been covered here. I'll be giving you the particulars of that particular story, and what happened and what people have had to say about that particular story. The other story is in regards to education. Magoha saying there is no extra cash for CBC classroom for the contractors, because some contractors have been asking the government to pay them 1.26 million Kenya shillings per classroom. All right, 1.26 million Kenya shillings per classroom, citing the high costs of construction that come along with the requirements of this particular CBC tailored classrooms. And finally, the registrar blows whistle for party primaries. Political parties have until the 26th of March to submit the names of their members for the nomination process, and notes new advisory by the registrar of political parties. That is how the front page is looking like. More details will be coming up in a bit. Victor.
And on the front page of the Star newspaper, doctor's blunder left my daughter blind, says Raila. Doctor's blunder left my daughter blind. Excuse me. The family has flown her to hospitals in Germany, South Africa, Israel, India, and China, but none has restored her vision. So it said that in 2017, there was a brain tumor surgery which was done, which actually ruined Rosemary's sight. So Raila Odinga, his wife, Ida Odinga, and Rosemary are still in India for that treatment. On the second page here, Stashbury likely killed by Kiambu forest grabber. The report by the National Security Panel states that Stashbury may have been killed by illegal forest occupier who actually constructed a road through riparian land to gain access to his property. Preliminary investigations report by DCI George Kinoti also revealed that Stashbury might have been killed by Kiambu forest land grabbers. That happened on July 15th last year. That is 2020, yes. PS Korir faced to appear in court, blames COVID-19. The officials accused of beating and injuring his estranged pregnant wife. The case, he was supposed to appear on March 1st, but after he was scheduled, appearance was postponed after he had contracted COVID-19. Korir was to appear in court on Monday to plead to charges of assaulting his estranged and pregnant wife, Evelyn Koech, in 2020. Cases of gender-based violence. Ruto, I will only want one term if I fail to keep my promises. It has also been established that Ruto will announce his running mate and release his manifesto sometimes late next month. It has also established that DP's camp will at the end of March hold a national delegates convention for his United Democratic Alliance, or to officially launch his manifesto, and that is the same time that will also tentatively, the meeting is tentatively scheduled for between March 26th and April 1st, where he will unveil his manifesto as well as his running mate. And yeah, that story of Raila Odinga there, he said that the former Prime Minister said that his daughter had developed brain hemorrhage, and was taken to hospital for surgery. That's a story that is fully captured on page 5 of the Star newspaper. And finally, on sports, FIFA cage Ingwe, fresh trouble as Leopards as new club signings are rejected. AFC Leopards' burning urge to boost their squad has been dealt a heavy blow after a letter written by the former player to the World Football Governing Body FIFA scuttled their plans to acquire new signings. Ingwe is also struggling to keep afloat in the Kenya Premier League. And finally, perfect example, Bitok, who is now the national women's volleyball team, says that counties should emulate what the ladies are doing and support volleyball in the country. And of course, Malkia strikers have been doing perfectly well over the years in the women's volleyball team. That's what's on the Star newspaper. Doreen?
All right, we are ready to facilitate IEBC to conduct elections. This story also made its way this morning on the GMK news briefs, where this CS Matiang'i mentioned that as of yesterday, he mentioned actually there's adequate security arrangements have been made to ensure elections are going to be held peacefully, and they'll actually be free and fair elections. And also storm of Awanga endorsement at Azimio rally, where a section of political leaders in Homa Bay County have now criticized aspirants taking advantage of Azimio La Umoja rallies to either popularize their bid or using this meetings as campaign platforms. And obviously this came after that particular endorsement that happened over the weekend. This is after Gladys Wanga mentioned that she will be vying for that gubernatorial position in Homa Bay County. So most of these leaders are saying that these meetings leaders need to ensure that in these meetings they popularize Raila Odinga's bid as opposed to their own. And also again, Wamboi mentioned that particular story on what really happened between the president and the DP. And again, there's been a lot of questions and Kenyans really wanting to know what exactly happened between the duo. Again, also as of yesterday, religious leaders were mentioning that it is very important, especially during this election time, that they mend their differences. And again, it's not as good to the public eye with the kind of differences that they've been having. But now, as it goes, the president is actually going to go ahead and spill the beans of what exactly happened between the two of them. So most of these questions that Kenyans had been asking, perhaps this is that time whereby you'll get to find out exactly what happened between the president and the DP. To some education matters, yes, as Magoha says that there's no more funds to be allocated for the construction of these classrooms. Also yesterday, while inspecting how this construction process has been coming along, this is in Parkland's area, he also set the deadline for the completion of the construction of these classrooms. Remember that phase 1 was expected to end by March 7th. This is actually the next month before KCP exam begins, as well as KCSE. And even at that, he went ahead to mention areas whereby they have met some challenges as they continue with this construction process, areas of Baringo and Lamu. But even at that, at least they are at 66% completion of this classroom. So obviously just showing that perhaps by March 7th, they might have completed with that phase 1 that they had been talking about. And lastly, Egerton back to learning in wake of crisis. Remember that this particular strike has lasted a period of 3 months, and the major issue that these lecturers were citing was the issue of finances. So as it stands, as of yesterday, a good number of them went back to teaching. However, lecturers through WASU leaders have maintained that they would continue with that strike. So when we get the details, I'll be telling you why this side or this particular set of lecturers are continuing with their strike, even as some have already gone back to class. Regina.
I have a copy of the Standard this morning, being the 15th of February 2022. From from the front page, it talks about that story that we have already highlighted on our bulletin, and that regards to, an envoy's warning on free elections and government coming out to assure them that, security will be beefed up. And the person speaking there in that high delegation meeting was none other than Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i, who assured that security will be beefed up and also they will facilitate the IEBC to conduct the elections. Some of the persons who are attending this high-level meeting include Ukur Yatani, who is a National Treasury CS. He assured the envoys that the economy was rebounding and GDP will grow by 7.5% in the first quarter. Remember, the World Bank has already revised the growth of Kenya's economy to 5.9%. So that might be, actually, we're biting too much to chew. But then there's a question, is this the real GDP? Those who do financial reporting, they understand exactly what you're saying when you say real GDP growth and the projections, so to speak. Another person who was in that particular special meeting is Joe Mushero. He's the ICT CS, and his stand was that government will respect media space and ensure the internet will not shut down during elections. Remember, the issue of freedom of speech and expression and also broadcast has been an issue that has been not only been tackling in also social media platforms, but also we saw what happened during the elections in our neighboring Uganda there, where they were out of the internet for some time. So an assurance that broadcast rights are not going to be infringed on come August 9th. And this is not something that has ever happened in our history as far as the country is concerned. Some of the envoys who are in this meeting include Alain Coursta-Menger, who is a French envoy. She said that they were keen to see how the government is planning to ensure the continuity after the polls. And this is a question about a peaceful transition of power. Then also Jane Mario, who the UK High Commissioner sought assurance of foreign investment would be negatively affected by poll activities. Remember the post-election violence of 2007-2008. Things went at a standstill, so to speak. Businesses went under, FDI was not coming through because of the unstable situation we found ourselves in. And I think these envoys were just putting the queries on areas that they have invested in so that to know, are they going to adapt the wait and watch, as we have heard from various quarters, including the real estate experts who have come out and say that, in as much as Kenya is keen on rebounding after COVID-19, the situation of the elections, being the general elections that are going to be held in August, they are seeing a slight shift to a wait and see in as far as investments are concerned. Remember, the issue of risk, you're supposed to be taking a calculated risk if you are investing. So the uncertainty around the elections is not just affecting, us as Wanjiko, so to speak, but also persons who are eyeing Kenya as an investment destination and those who already have investments within the country. But the government has come out to say, you know what? We are ready. It is going to be peaceful and transparent, and there's going to be a smooth transition of power after the August 9th polls. Nothing to worry about. Those are affirmations, or rather words of affirmation, by rather than Fred Matiang'i, the Interior Cabinet Secretary. That's the front page, and that's a big read on the front page of this particular issue. Matters of politics also get a space or a slot here, with Ngilu opining, this is her opinion and statement, saying that Ukambani people want to be in the next government and that the Wiper leader cannot win the presidency, therefore he has to join the winning team. Your guess is as good as mine. He's talking about, joining Azimio. But will he? Is it? Remember, this is a political season. You take a few statements with a tinge of salt and wait and see. At the end of the day, you and I as Wanjiko are the ones who are going to determine which way. So reprieve for motorists as fuel prices remain unchanged. This also has found itself on the front page. On matters business, government continuing to use the levy subsidy and cushioning Kenyans from the high cost of fuel. Remember, the global prices are changing. Mubane, they're going up, as well as Brent. Also in the counties, the family is still in agony as the dead miner is still trapped. Remember what happened in the mine collapse in Migori there. There are details that have been fleshed out for you on this particular issue of the paper. Then also a piece here about the ailing health sector that hurts patients. This is barely a week after the president launched the universal health care in Mombasa, and every person who is above 18 is required to enlist on NHIF. And these deductions can actually be made through M-Pesa, or rather mobile money transfer. Egerton reopening under 6.1 billion debt. This is another story that has also found itself on the front page. Universities VC says the money they received from the government is hardly enough to pay salaries and their outstanding financial obligations, and the broke institution cannot meet. Then on national matters, yesterday was Valentine's Day, so there's a piece here that says Valentine pressure, the killer of romance. Now research shows that lovers are under pressure to spend a lot of money on gifts, thus straining relationships. Indeed, many relationships break just before or after Valentine's Day. Where do you fall? Where do you fall? Did it break before or after? Well, our Twitter handle is open to your feedback in regard to what we have captured for you and also what is available on our website. That is at KBC Channel 1 News. I'm also on Twitter at Ray Manyera. Before we bring the newspaper review to a close, maybe Victor, something to add on your end?
Yeah, still on politics. I want to drop my presidential bid. Okay, that's according to Muranga Governor Mwangi wa area.
Oh, we thought you were the one.
Yes, I want to drop my presidential bid, says Muranga Governor Mwangi wa area. He says that most of his political opponents have been uncomfortable with his bid, and they have resulted in creating propaganda to mislead his followers. But that is the name of the game in politics. So he's still adamant that he'll go for it. Next crop of MPs could enjoy 300 million CDF cash annually. A key committee has approved a bill increasing allocation to 5%. Currently, the allocation, the minimum share is at 2.5% of the national government share of revenue as stated in the Division of Revenue Act for a given financial year. So if that bill is passed, then MPs will get 300 million shillings CDF cash annually. DCI cops deny robbery with violence charges. They are alleged to have robbed Odembo armed with an AK-47. The three, Anthony Mwanza, Cornelius Wamboa, Tom Omondi Otieno, and Kennedy Odero, pleaded not guilty. It is alleged that on February 6th at 1:45 p.m., that is in broad daylight, at Next Gen Mall along Mombasa Road in Langata, armed with an AK-47 rifles and 2 Seska pistols, they robbed Vincent Odembo of 2,400 shillings and 40,000 bob and used actual violence on him. So they pleaded not guilty to the charges. They were released on a cash bail on a bond of 500,000 shillings or an alternative bail of 300,000 and 2 contact persons. That is as far as that is concerned. So you talk of Valentines. Vendors, hotels and SMEs reap from Valentine's Day spending. Chocolates, wines and flowers remained the dominant gifts, traders say. When you talk of chocolate, there is some rumor there's a gentleman who splashed 10 million bob and bought a car.
Not just one, quite a few. People were putting up billboards, gifting others motor vehicles. Wengine walikuwa wanajiuliza kama hao ni ua la waridi ama dawa ya baridi. Wengine wanapewa gifts here and there. Kama hukupewa story, unakula tu story mdogo mdogo.
Someone said there's no romance without finance. This is why we're using their money. But it is true,
people did really spend yesterday.
Yes, I think people missed that period because you remember Corona just hit us below the belt badly. So I think it was that day people were looking forward to. Whichever way you spent it, you celebrated it, it's still okay. based on your ability. There's no pressure.
Regina ameuliza wewe ni mnaachananga which time, before or after?
You know, the pressure is real, actually. It is.
Very real.
It is. If you hear David Beckham was actually
only here in Nairobi.
110.
Yeah.
You think so? Only in Nairobi? I mean, if you see people putting up billboards.
Go to Mashinani. Life is normal.
Actually, I saw a billboard that was trending on social media, and this
quite a few.
Wife, someone's wife, put them
husband
on a billboard. Victor,
yes.
Put them on a billboard. Wacha watu wajue na kupenda. Goals, man, goals.
That is called public pronouncement.
Yes.
I
would also do the same, by the way. Why not? If someone loves you right, why not?
The double-decker road is here just behind us. You
Wacha iishe. Expressway. Nitawanikia hapo.
Wewe ni wa kutangaza, lazima watu wajue.
You know, if you've been loved right, what is there to hide? You will see my glow, you will see my laugh. No pressure. Iko tu sawa. So kama it's a billboard I want to do, I'll do it. And actually, that particular billboard was set up in Tanzania, Victor. It was in Tanzania. Billboard mzima. The wife invested in a billboard, akaeka picha ya bwana, just hapo kwa barabara. Public way.
Kuna mwingine aliweka picha ya girlfriend, akasema happy Valentines my momo. And not Momo the way you think, like it's a short from for Maureen or something like that. Uwala waridi.
Wenye ni dawa ya baridi wanajijua on one side.
Mimi nimewaambia watu walisema hakuna mapenzi bila shilingi. No
and roses that were scattered all over. And also there were guys who were just, there was a tout, I don't know if you guys saw that video, there was a tout who was just giving ladies, random ladies, flowers and teddy bears, just random gifts to celebrate them. And then also there's been this guy on social media, he just goes to the market, random places, finds Nduthi guys, finds Mama Mboga, starts dancing for them, alafu anazunguka hivi anawapea kama ua. Kuna mwenye alipewa maua akasink.
But see also, I think that is actually the whole idea of Valentine's. Only that we have like boxed it, ni like the man and the woman, husband, wife, girlfriend, whatever. But it's just showing love to people that you love. Could even be your mother,
I agree
father,
with you.
anyone. So the pressure inakuanga so much because you only think kama sina mtu guys.
It's a lover. There's the mentality. It's a lover's day.
It's not.
It's actually just like a mentality.
Jen, I know you received a gift from your daughter. Tell us about it.
Yes, I did. Kama uko na mtoto wako CBC, I'm sure you also did receive this. They make cards from scratch, by the way. In school, they make the cards. They draw the little love hearts. Wanaandika hapo their message to you. Anakuletea nyumbani na karoz. It was beautiful.
That is it. It's all about love. And yesterday, I told you that love is everything. We may talk about money and everything, but you spend on people you love, right?
Absolutely.
So love is everything. You have to actually value that person for you to spend in them. Then I saw something on social media, and I'm going to say it as is.
Usichome lakini.
Kama akuongeleshi kizungu akupendi. Kama akuongeleshi kizungu akupendi.
Really?
No, I'm like, okay, hold up. What is your love language? How do you communicate? When did English become a thing?
Sasa watu wenye wanaongea sheng na Kiswahili hawapendani.
My question. That's my question exactly. So someone was just saying, kama akuongeleshi kizungu akupendi. Then I remember when we were growing up, there were people who used to speak in a certain twang. You know, those ones appeared as if they had made it in life. You with your heavy Kimeru accent and such, but Wambas, you feel somewhat left out. So I think this is a moment, Valentine is a moment where people get to share the funny, the good, you know, making fun about the situations they find themselves. So huyu mwenye anasema kama kuongeleshi kizungu akupendi.
But also there's a way English that
St. Valentine's was a Roman. St. Valentine was a Roman.
I think mimi venye nelewa Victor, ni lugha ya mtaa. That there's a way you approach a certain girl. Kama ni girl, kama Jane, unaenda na kizungu yako yote.
Pick-up lines.
But you know,
kama ni Regina wa kutoka huko diaspora unaenda na Kiswahili na Sheng. No?
Regina ama Regina
hata nikwambie. You know, looking as we bring this segment to a close, looking at how relationships start, watu nakuanga formal, tunaongea Kizungu, Kiswahili sanifu, 3 years down the line. Oya,
but let me tell you, there's a way English slaps when you're speaking to your person. There's just a way.
Nani?
Kuna wala nye maintain,
with your person, basi hamjafika ile level, comfortable level, you are my ride till the end.
Ride or die.
Miss Okello is speaking from experience.
But she's still in love. And we hope it stays that way.
Thank you.
Hallelujah. Mama nani?
Na ukinikasirisha unalala kwa couch na kufungia nje.
Unaweka pasi moto, unachukua pasi unaweka kwa socket alafu unaweka katikati yenu.
Jaribu kucross hii line.
Yeah, unachomeka.
Speaking from experience, iko anajua mtachomeka nyumbili.
There's no experience. That's just a statement.
Speaking of iron box, when it gets very cold, you iron the bed alafu unatoa socket, unaingia before kakue baridi.
Okay.
What experience huku? What you gonna experience?
What?
Okay.
None of you have ever done that?
Nah.
Ironing your bed?
No.
When it's really cold?
No.
Okay.
At ukiwa campus?
No, why would I be ironing bed sheets?
Aya. Why do I kukiwa na kabaridi?
I'm very worried. You're my neighbor and I'm worried about you.
Personally, I am one of those people who can't sleep with cold feet. Nitakuwa wakeridho vibaya. Wakeridho vibaya. You guys remember that cold season a while back?
Yes.
Yes.
But Jane, we need to talk away from the camera. We need to talk.
No, I will keep ironing my bed.
The bed sheets.
No, the bed sheets, yes. To just jumpstart the warmth process.
Sasa inahitaji wewe upatiwe mtu. Wachana ku iron bed sheets.
Mimi niko na better idea. We go buy
ITH.
Duvets and socks. They will help.
They're there.
But you know,
it takes time before you warm the bed.
Off camera, Jane. Off camera.
Basi ni sawa. I'll keep ironing my bed. That brings us to a close of ITH. Thank you so much for being with us this far. We have so much more lined up for you, so do stay with us. We'll be right back.